The next iPhone's screen design and face unlock apparently confirmed by HomePod firmware. Trying to pin down the precise features of the next iPhone has been difficult of late. We're all expecting a standard S model iPhone 7 and an 7 Plus that won't be radically different from last year's, but we're also expecting a high-end model. It appears, based on a tweet from developer Steve Troughton-Smith, that at least one of those models will have face unlock. And the high-end model, alternately referred to as the iPhone Pro, iPhone 8, or even iPhone X, will have a bezel-less screen that wraps around the speaker and cameras at the top. Troughton-Smith and other developers have been spending the past day examining the code inside the Apple HomePod, which pretty much contains most of the code base for iPhones inside it. Apple accidentally pushed the firmware for the HomePod out yesterday, and a bunch of developers grabbed it. From that code, we've learned a bit about how the LED lights on the top may work, but it also is giving us an opportunity to learn about what might be coming to the next iPhones. To wit, there are a bunch of lines of code for BK Face Detect here, where the BK probably refers to biometric kit. Apple loves using the word kit for its developer tools, you see. There's also references to an infrared camera, which would be used to detect your face, even in the dark. Bloomberg reported that Apple would use an infrared camera for 3D face scanning earlier this month, but we don't know whether it will come to all of upcoming iPhones.